One of the biggest issues audio engineers have to face in the production world is the fact that they often have no control in regards to the environment they'll be recording sound in. That's why I often have clients approach me in regards to tackling the issue of reverberation on set. And some of them even believe that throwing in a few moving blankets would get the job done, but as it turns out, you would need to cover every square inch of that room for you to actually hear a noticeable difference. So what I recommend instead is tackling this issue in post-production using a De-Reverb plugin, like the one we'll be looking at today, which is made by Waves Audio, instead of trying to control the uncontrollable. Once you finish the video, I'm going to invite you to take a look at the description box where you'll find a link to a list of audio post-production plugins that are personally recommended by me, which will allow you to tackle on all the projects that are coming your way with absolute confidence. And if you aren't already subscribed to the Decibel Peak newsletter, you'll automatically be enrolled to receive news, updates, and offers in regards to the online trainings that we provide. Now, let's get into the video and find out what the Waves Clarity Vx DeReverb Pro is truly capable of. All right, so we got a Pro Tools session loaded up with the audio example, as you can see. So I recorded this specifically for the purposes of this video. And we're going to listen to that in just a second without any processing. But before that, I just want to explain briefly how the plugin works. So if you've seen my demo on the Waves Clarity Vx Pro, which is the denoiser plugin that Waves Audio provides, both of these plugins use neural networks. So it's basically a fancy way of saying algorithms to process whatever you wanted to process. But it's important not to confuse this with AI. So it's not happening in real time. Like, it's not being trained by your audio in real time. It's just basing itself off of its previous training, but it does adapt itself to what it's listening to. So you definitely want to get some audio in its ears before you make your, like, basically you have to make it listen to some audio before you actually get good results. So you might want to play through a little section and it'll adapt itself to what it's hearing. So close to AI, but not quite. So that being said, we have 3 algorithms to work with. We have Dialogue 1, Dialogue 2, and Singing 1. And we're going to listen to all of these in just a minute. But first, let's listen to it without any processing. I'm just going to do this, and let's check that out. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves DeReverb plugin. All right, so it's not unbearable. It's not the worst sounding room ever recorded or anything like that, but we can clearly hear that there is some reverberation going on, and bottom line, it doesn't sound like a studio recording. So what we want to do with this plugin is make it sound, well, like it was recorded in this room. So let's see if we can make that happen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just turn this knob up to the max, and let's just see what it does just by turning that one knob. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves DeReverb plugin. I mean, I'm sold. That's already pretty impressive for what it is. But obviously we can hear that it's like a little bit choked at the end of each sentence. So like it doesn't sound natural. So luckily we have a knob over here, which is basically functions like a release knob, which is going to allow a little bit of the natural reflections to pass through. So let's listen to that example again, and I'll tweak it in real time to demonstrate what it's doing. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves De-Reverb plugin. There you go. I think we got it right at about 30 milliseconds or something. Like, you're probably going to want to aim for something between, 20 and 50 milliseconds. Don't want to let too much in, but don't want it to sound artificial either. So already we've achieved that result. And like I said, I just used 2 knobs and it already sounds like this. So that's pretty impressive. Now the presence knob we have down here, it basically affects the reflections that are going to be brought back in. You can either brighten them if you go to 100%, or you can dull them out a little bit. This is from what I understand, from what I've heard. We're going to listen to it right now, but it's a very subtle difference. So if you're not wearing studio headphones, you probably won't even hear a difference, but let's go for it anyway. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves De-Reverb plugin. So yeah, very, very subtle difference. It just brightens it up a little bit if you leave it at the max. So depending on your recording, where it was recorded, you might need it. I mean, if you're unsure, I would just leave it at 50%, and I don't think it's that important to look into. But all right, so now let's go ahead and try Dialog 2 algorithm to see what that sounds like. And before going to that, I just want to explain what this does. So this will basically refresh the algorithm. So if ever it's listening to new audio or any of that stuff, you want to make sure to periodically refresh it. And if you don't want to think about it, you can actually just press this auto button and it will happen on its own. So Dialog 2, let's hear what that sounds like. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves De-Reverb plugin. Wow, I like that one even better actually. I think that one is it's has more bite. Like it takes for this particular example, it sounds like it's working a lot better. The other one sounded, I mean, you can go back and compare the two, but the other one, to me, it sounded a little bit more darker, like it was dulling it out. And this one, it just sounds like more open and more natural even. So if I had to choose between the two, I would already go with this one. Now let's listen to the singing algorithm. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves De-Reverb plugin. All right, so I actually did a little something there because to me it sounded, it seems like the singing algorithm is less aggressive. And we didn't talk about this knob over here. So this is a multiplier. So if ever you're in a situation where it's like like you're recording in a cavern or something for some documentary on cavemen or something, you might need to get into this if the reverb is not aggressive enough. So you could think about this as kind of like an intensity modifier. But for the singing one to sound, on this example anyway, to sound like it was recorded in the studio, I had to use it. I had to boost it almost to the max for us to get the same results as the dialogue algorithm. So just things to keep in mind. But like I said, we like the dialogue too for this example, and we don't need to bring that up. Bring it back down. So the last thing I want to look at is this EQ curve over here. So this will basically allow you to have really ultimate control in regards to how much of which frequencies of the reverb you're allowing to pass through and which you aren't. So if I bring this down just a little bit, and let's say I want to leave the reverb for all the frequencies besides the high end, I would just do this. So this means it's going to be dulling out the high frequencies, and the rest it's going to let a little bit of it pass through. So let's listen to what that sounds like, and I'll do some little tweaks in real time so you hear the difference. All right, so this is a test recording of probably the most reverberant room in my entire studio. So let's see if we can de-reverb this using the Waves De-Reverb plugin. So yeah, Once again, very subtle differences because I mean, you need good headphones to hear what I'm doing. But you have basically more control than you could ever ask for, and no amount of money would ever allow you to have this much control on a set, you know, with everything going on. Like, just forget about it. No amount of moving blankets could get you to this level. So that's why I recommend the Waves Clarity Vx DeReverb Pro, and I hope that, you know, that you'll use it wisely. As you can see, I have it running in demo mode right now, so that's something that you can do if you want to try it out for, you know, just for a quick project or something. But it is available in the Waves Creative Bundle, which, if I'm not mistaken, is about $30 a month, and it will also include the Waves Clarity VX Pro denoiser. I actually purchased it, you know, outright. Luckily, it was on sale, but if I could go back in time, I would definitely take advantage of the Creative Bundle. It's, you know, it basically makes these audio post-production plugins like super accessible and, you know, definitely more accessible than the Isotope RX suite. So definitely look into these two. I think they're some of the best plugins, and they're some of my favorite as well. So that's pretty much all there is to it. I hope that you enjoyed the demo and that you learned a little something along the way. If you like the video and you know, you want to see more of this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us, and you'll basically get updates in regards to audio plugin demos, tutorials we have on Pro Tools, even Logic Pro. So make sure not to miss out on any of that. And don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow too. Lastly, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to check out the description box. You got that link to that list of audio post-production templates that I talked about earlier. Will definitely help you get some better quality, you know, projects under your belt. And, you know, you never know, you might find something in there that you're not already using. So that being said, I thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.